Imagine buying just before the hype in Perth and actually making a killing. Well, today's guest has done exactly that. And I want to share, I guess, his experience through the entire process and more so walk through the entire journey, how he's gone from not owning a property, trying to find someone online and using the service. So if you guys are interested, definitely keep watching. Guys, welcome back to the channel. I've got Josh here on the channel. Welcome, mate. It's good to have you.
Yeah, thanks, Ravi. It's good seeing you in person, and it's good being on the show.
It's interesting. You just mentioned that you feel weird being here because you've seen everything from the other side, right?
Yeah, I'm usually on the other end, and I've been watching your videos for a while, and it's sort of it's funny seeing you in person, seeing you without your black shirt and in 3D.
I can't believe I messed up the timings for this shoot because usually I would be aware and I wear a black t-shirt. And I'm
Yeah,
like, no,
I was gonna wear black as well to match you, but
that would have
then
been sick.
yeah,
But unfortunately, my two black t-shirts, the ones that I have, because I've thrown a few out, and the two were just, they were supposed to be washed, but then I left them in there for too long, so I had to wash them again. And I don't like using the dryer. I've completely taken this on a whole tangent, but
yeah.
I don't like using the dryer because then it shrinks my clothes. So I was like, I'll wear this shirt, and then I realized, oh, we have a podcast to shoot. So
Yeah, no, it's all right. It's great. It's just great seeing you actually in person. So yeah, I'm happy to discuss what's been happening so far. It's been a bit of a crazy journey. It's been a year and a half since I've purchased. So
yeah, we'll definitely go through the numbers shortly. But walk me through, I guess, the journey, because I know that you've got a friend who also used the service. Was he one to go first, or were you first to go?
I think I went first. So I bought maybe 3 months before he did. And then he saw the journey and how I went through, and we spoke to each other. And I think that's the main thing, buying your property. You just need some reassurance and some confidence. So he had that. So I think he was easier to sort of jump on board than me. I think I spent a lot of time like reviewing different people online, and then I bumped into you, and I found you on your YouTube channel, and I just sort of went through all your videos, and that's how I sort of understood what you did. And then I think your testimonials were the main part that got me hooked and be like, you know what, I'll just give this guy a go.
So you were, I guess, looking at a buyer's agent, or you were wanting to get into property but didn't know how to get started?
Yeah, that's what I was looking for, some guidance, not a buyer's agent per se. I just wanted someone to point me in the right direction. But then I saw your service, which sort of took me throughout the full journey, not like held my hand, but you sort of led the way. And then the way from finding a property, and then you guys do a lot more, the conveyancer, the mortgage broker, and the pest and build. So once I found out that you guys help with all these different aspects, I was sort of convinced.
Yeah, I mean, there's different models. So like there's the done with you model, and then there's the done for you model. So in our case, like as a buyer's agent, we pretty much have like the end-to-end service, right? So we come through, and if you don't know anything about property or you know about property, we will basically help you get this done. And it's a done for you model. So it's like, you want an investment property, you want this, we go and do it for you. Then there's the done with you model, which is essentially going, look, we're going to do it together. I'm going to teach you. I'm going to do a course, or I'm going to mentor you, and then you'll purchase the property and you can go down that path. But obviously for yourself, you've taken the path with us, which is the done for you model. Now, in hindsight, would you want to go down the same path again, or would you have preferred to go down the path of, oh, I want to, like learn and then do it myself?
I'm happy I went down the path with you for my first property, because that's given me the reassurance to sort of go ahead. And now that my property is done so well, I feel confident. But I want to look forward to being a bit more self-sufficient, sort of trying to learn how to fish myself, and then, maybe be in your shoes, because you're sort of self-sufficient, A to Z of this process. Maybe not start a business like you, but be in a position where I can sort of look at a property and then suss it out, see if it has potential to grow down the line, if it's worth putting my money here, or if I have to move to the next property. So I think that's what the future holds for me personally.
Yeah, that's it's really exciting that you mentioned that, because not everyone like has the time to be able to do that. And I imagine in your case, you're working a job as well. It's very hard to go. In this case, you've kick-started the journey. You're starting to build out the portfolio. We're going to do the next property together. And then it's like, okay, amongst that whole process, I've picked up a few things here and there, and I'm interested now. I've got, skin in the game. I can educate myself. And we've had plenty of clients that, have stayed with us and purchased 5, 6, 7, 8 properties. And then there's some that because they have a bit more time, they go, okay, well, I've purchased 4 with Ravi.
Yeah.
Now I want to be able to do it myself. And I've learned stuff along the way. And even in that situation, we're like super supportive because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, like we're just trying to get you to get started. And I think for a lot of people that watch the channel, it's usually taking that first step, which is so hard.
Yeah.
In your case, knowing that you've made that first move, right? So you've decided you're going to talk to a few other people. Did you end up getting on disco calls or discovery calls with people, or was it just very high level website browsing?
Well, you were the first,
Okay,
and I
great.
stuck with you, so I didn't manage to get to the second person. So
Okay,
yeah.
got you. So we must have done something right.
Yeah. I spoke to Jonathan, and he was great. He ran me through the full process, and I think that's just reassuring, that you guys know what you're talking about and that you can communicate it so well. And that resonated with me and my partner, so we were
Yeah,
pretty
nice.
happy. Yeah.
So you start watching the channel. How long was it before you ended up contacting us?
It was, I think, 3 months because, I came here as a student, so I had to get my PR sorted out. And then we also knew the ballpark figure, which we had to have as a saving.
Mm-hmm.
So I knew when I had to make the call, I just wanted to get the ball rolling.
Mm-hmm.
So 3 months, I just kept consuming content and then, reading other stuff. And then, as soon as, 3 months, it took 3 months.
And why the interest in property?
I read Rich Dad Poor Dad when I was pretty young. I think that book got me on this mindset where a 9 to 5 job is nice, but it's not, I think, the pathway to freedom. And my goal down the line is to spend more time with family and maybe not work a 9 to 5 for too long.
Mm-hmm.
I've just changed jobs actually. I was a mechanical engineer for the longest time, and I've moved to being a data analyst.
Okay.
So it's a bit more remote, and I spend a bit more time at home. I've got a small puppy as well.
Nice.
So that's my goal eventually, to be a bit more self-sufficient with properties as one avenue for revenue, but also looking at other revenue streams down the line.
So before you got into real estate, was there anything else that you were investing into or looking into?
Yes. So I was a day trader for the longest time, and then I had a long-term stock portfolio.
Oh, nice.
So I've been reading on that as well, and then real estate, and then
So with the day trading, was that just with stocks or were you into crypto as well?
Crypto as well. Crypto was so volatile. I was there during the big.
Yeah. 2021?
Who could miss that? I think everyone is in it.
Yeah.
But stocks way before that. I think I got into stocks. So it's the US stock market, but it's a bit tough being in Australia where
Oh, the
you got it.
timings.
Yeah, so I'd sort of go to work, go to the gym, and then come home, have a nap, and then wake up and then I'd trade.
And you were doing that full time?
No, so I had a full-time job, and then I was doing this.
Wow.
Yeah, so I did that for about 6 years, and then and then you happened, and I bought this property, and then I just looked at the outcomes of both, and then it was pretty clear, I think it's more it's more valuable to invest my time and resources into this because the returns I was getting from both weren't comparable. Like my property portfolio is exponential compared to
What you were making with the stock portfolio?
Yeah, although I really enjoyed that, it's I liked it because 90% of people fail in that industry, and you always think you're on the 10%, and you always strive to sort of prove to yourself that you're different. So that was what kept me going in that field. But then, it was a tough decision, but the numbers don't lie. So
I think that's what is the hardest part to understand is when you haven't bought property yourself, you'd sort of just look at averages and you say, okay, well, based on this, maybe my portfolio is going to perform better in here or it's going to be better invested somewhere else. And now that you've gone through that journey, your story's not unique in that sense where people have sort of invested into ETF stocks and whatnot, and then they've bought their first property and suddenly it's like, actually, like I made, 6 months worth of gains was more than what I made in a couple of years. I want to build this machine, passively where I'm not looking at the prices all the time and whatnot. So is that a similar sort of thing for yourself?
Yeah, because when I got into real estate, I was expecting 10%, 12% was what people tell you from 7 to 15 is.
Yep.
So I was expecting that, and stocks as well. The thing with stocks, it's so volatile. It's just like Bitcoin where when the stocks I was trading. So I could make up to 50, 60% overnight, but then you could also lose so much money. So it's big risk, big reward sort of situation. Uh, but over time, you want something that's sort of more stable. And also, it wasn't good for my physical and mental health because you have these mood swings, and then even physically, I was not getting proper sleep. So it was a tough decision to sort of come to. Maybe if I was in the States or in that time zone, it'd be different. But I'm here, so it is what it is.
You're in the best country in the world.
Yeah. Mate, I love it here. I love it here.
How
Yeah.
long ago did you move into Australia?
It's been 7 years, I think. I
And where did
came
you
here-
move from?
So I was in the Middle East. So my family is based in Abu Dhabi.
Oh,
So I
nice.
went to school there and then I went to university there. I worked there as well for a couple of years. So I used to work in oil and gas. So I used to work on the rig in the middle
Oh,
of
wow.
yeah.
So those weird, those wild videos that you see sometimes on YouTube, is that what you
Well, I
working on?
wasn't offshore. I was more onshore, but I
Okay.
was like in the middle of desert where there was no internet. So that's where I got into reading actually. So it's all one big crazy thing. So I got into reading there because there's nothing else to do. There's no internet.
Yep.
Got into reading, and then I read Rich Dad Poor Dad, and I was like, oh, I'm making all this money, but I'm always looking at the clock, and I'm always looking, is it time to clock in?
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't sort of accept that initially because I was so happy with my high paying job. But after a few months, it's at the back of your mind, and I'm like, there should be another way to sort of make money where you're not sort of sacrificing all your time. And I was away from family for like 8, 9, 10 months.
Oh, wow.
So because I was not married. They're like, stay on the rig. You have nowhere to go. You have no wife. You have no kids. Yeah. So you realize you miss a lot of these events, like birthday parties, you miss a lot of things in life. So I was like, it's not worth it, all this money. At that age, I thought money was, it's so enticing
Of course.
to sign that contract and, make this money. I'm like going home, buying an Audi. I'm going to live the life. But yeah, I took a step back from that. And then that's how I decided to come here. That was 7 years ago.
And why did you want to move to Australia?
I wanted to be somewhere which was the opposite of where I was.
Okay.
And I came here to sort of study. So I was in oil and gas, and then I studied mechanical with renewable energy. So
The complete opposite.
complete opposite. So I graduated 2019, and then I was a mechanical engineer in construction for about 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
And then earlier this year, I took 6 months off, and then I transitioned to be a data analyst.
Yeah, nice. Okay.
Yeah. So I like learning. I like doing new stuff, and that's why the interest in sort of learning how to sort of buy my own property down the line.
Yeah,
It
that's
just
amazing.
Keeps me going. Yeah.
And so currently you and your partner are renting?
Yes, we are.
Yep. And so was that decision hard to go, okay, we can potentially purchase our first place together versus renting and then continue to invest?
The decision wasn't too hard. I mean, there was a lot of pressure from our family to sort of buy a place to sort of stay before you sort of invest. But when you buy a place to stay, especially in Sydney, the loan is a minimum of like $1 million for any place you want to stay long term. So we didn't want to be sort of tied down to one location, and then you'd be tied down to your day job. I couldn't change careers like I did.
So I think, we looked at the numbers and then we're like, you know what, we'll go down this alley of investing where we sort of rent and then invest in other places and then bank on capital growth and then cash flow.
Yeah, nice. Well, let's go through some numbers. You purchased this in March of
2023, and you would have purchased that and settled probably around May, if I'm correct. And you purchased that property for $415,000. It is a 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom place on 744 square meters of land. So people are listening to that or watching this and going, 4-bedroom, 2-bathroom, 744 square meters in Perth. That's a cracker deal. Now, obviously, we bought this, about 18, 19 months ago.
Yep.
Now, we spoke before this around what the valuation is because you just got it valued from the broker at the bank. And the reason you were getting it revalued was because you're looking at taking equity out to purchase your next one. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. Yep.
And then we started discussing, other structures that you can purchase in. But the value came back at $632,000 from the bank, which is a little higher. It's just a little higher than what we thought the growth would have been. I think we had said it was going to be probably 7, maybe 12. But it ended up being 52.29%, which sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, it is so not what I was expecting. If you guys told me I would get 52%, I would have signed the contract long back.
Or you thought it would have been a scam.
Yeah, I thought you guys were like robbing me or something, but I expected 15% coming into this.
Okay.
So that's what I said, like I think it was a few months in, it hit 15% growth, and I checked this on real estate, and I was like, I'm so happy. Don't move for the rest of the year, and I'll still be happy. So that was, and then it kept growing, and then I kept showing my partner. We were both like, going nuts, and we've just been so happy. It's sort of exceeded all our expectations. 50% is,
it's wild.
I'm this happy.
Like when you start breaking it down with actual numbers, so in 19 months, that's $217,000 in growth. So if you annualize that, you're probably looking at, I don't know, like 150K a year. So if someone is to be going out there and trying to make that themselves, working in an active job, you'd be having to make close to $300,000 from your active income to generate that sort of return. And the thing is, you did it passively.
Yeah. I don't think there is a way to sort of make so much money, especially in Sydney, because cost of living is so high. My partner and me, without this, there's no chance we even save like 30-40K in a year.
Yeah, for sure. It's so hard because it is expensive. And in this case, if you broke it down per month, it's $11,400 per month.
Yeah, don't tell me the
wild,
figures.
huh?
I can't sort of digest the figures when you say it back to me. It's a bit nutty.
And all I've said is, and I've been very upfront with Josh, so everyone's listening. I said, look, do not expect this from the next property.
Yeah.
Because, the expectations are so
high. The benchmark
high.
is too high.
Yeah. You're like, if I don't get 50%, this is a failure.
Yeah.
But no, I'm really happy for you, man. And I think the biggest thing with, of course, you coming in and having these chats is because it helps so many people that are watching, listening, that want to get started. So do you have any words of wisdom or anything that you can share from your experience that can help, potentially someone to change their lives, whether it's buying property through us or anything else like that, any sort of advice around that?
I think, most people hesitate on making the first step, and that's where people get stuck. And then eventually I feel they just give in to buying their own property to live in. Advice I would give people is maybe just see where you want to be in 5-10 years, and then work your way backwards. So reverse engineer your life. Do you want to have passive income? How much money do you want to have passively? And then how do you do this? Is it through property? Is it through stocks? There's several ways to do it, but you got to get started somewhere. And in this country, I think you'd be wrong not to capitalize on the real estate market here. People love coming to this country. This country is great. And I think it's, there's still a lot of potential out there. Maybe that's my advice, work backwards, see where you want to be in 10 years, and then reverse engineer your life.
I love that, man. I think it all comes down to strategy, and that's what we talk about on the channel as well is, start with the end in mind, get some actionable steps, and then just follow through. Sometimes it's like, okay, I want to do this, but it's very loose in terms of the vision.
Yeah.
So I definitely agree with you. But thank you so much, Josh, for coming on.
Yeah, thanks, Ravi. Thanks for everything. It's a big shout out to you and your team, because without you guys, I wouldn't take the first step and I wouldn't be where I am, especially not buying the second property with 50% growth in my first property. So my partner and me would love to, say thank you to you and your team. We really appreciate you guys.
Thank you so much, man. Thank you.
Yeah.
And guys, if you want to know and hear more stories like this, I've got a playlist. It's called Real Clients, Real Stories. So definitely go check that out if you have enjoyed it. And if you want to reach out, then it's searchproperty.com.au. But if you do like this video, then smash that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks, mate.
Yeah, thanks, Ravi.